Smokey the Bear's not having a good day. Wakes up after a nap, looks down at his paws, and realizes that he doesn't have a hat on anymore. And upon looking around the forest, it becomes obvious to him that someone has taken his hat and left a note saying that they have taken his hat and they want his hat back. This is basically the plot of I Want My Hat Back. But what if we turn this into a neo-noir detective movie? What if this was like a film from the 40s or 50s, where the animals are all human-like, and they talk like humans too? That would be pretty cool, right? Well, let's try it out. Here's the plot of I Want My Hat Back. But if it was a noir detective film, Smokey the Bear wakes up from a nice afternoon nap, only to realize that his signature hat is nowhere to be found. It's not just anywhere, mind you. It was taken from the top of his head while he was sleeping in his bed. How does one even do that? The worst part is there's a ransom note left behind. A note saying that Smokey's hat has been taken, and if he wants it back, he'll know where to find it. But really, the note just says to go to the riverbank, which is really just an area where lots of animals come to get drinking water. It's kind of a social spot. So why did the note say to go there? Why would you tell him where to meet you if you wanted to trade him back his hat? Doesn't seem to make sense. Regardless, Smokey decides to go to the river anyway, because what other choice does he have? If he wants his hat back, he has to trust that whoever took it will actually show up. Smokey arrives at the riverbank and sees a bunch of animals drinking water. There's a fox, there's an owl, there's a rabbit, there's a badger, but none of them have hats. He asks each of them if they've seen anything, if any of them have seen who might have taken his hat. They all respond no, but not before making fun of him for being such an idiot for falling for something like this. They suggest that he should have known better than to fall asleep with his hat on. To which Smokey responds that he always falls asleep with his hat on, and that it has never been a problem before. The animals tease him some more, and then go about their business. None of them seem to care about his missing hat, which I guess is understandable. I mean, how many of us have lost our hats? Come on, we've all been there. But when the skunk approaches the water, Smokey asks him the same question. Hey skunk, have you seen my hat? To which the skunk responds, Your hat? Who cares about your hat? Look at me. I'm covered in stink. Nobody wants to come near me. But you, the skunk says, pointing to Smokey, you've got a whole gang of admirers over there. Smokey turns around and sees a group of female bears staring at him intently. One of them winks at Smokey and blows him a kiss. Then another one walks up to him and starts licking his face. He's clearly flattered by the attention. But he can't help but notice that these bears are kind of creepy. And also they do and really look like they re from around here. These must be city bears, because city bears wear makeup, and these ones have makeup on. So he politely excuses himself from the bears and goes back to searching for his hat. Soon enough, he finds a turtle and asks him if he's seen his hat. The turtle responds, I haven't seen your hat, but I did see something interesting yesterday.
Bad.
Two rabbits arguing over something? I couldn't hear what they were arguing about, but it seemed to be pretty intense. Maybe one of them stole your hat and the other one knows where it is. And just like that, Smokey gets a lead. This is finally some good news. He tracks down the two rabbits and asks them if they know anything about his missing hat. The first rabbit says, What's a hat? But the second rabbit seems to know exactly what Smokey is talking about. In fact, he claims that he knows where the hat is, but he won't say where it is. Instead, he makes a deal with Smokey. Hat. Tell him where the hat is if Smokey helps him steal a carrot from Farmer Joe's garden. Now, normally, Smokey would say no. Stealing is wrong, but he's already wearing gloves. He's clearly desperate, so he agrees to the deal, breaks into the farm, steals the carrot, and gives it to the rabbit. But as soon as he does, the rabbit runs away and disappears into the forest. So it was a trick. Smokey's pissed off, but what can he do? The rabbit got what he wanted, and he didn't even get his hat back. Things are starting to get really frustrating. As night begins to fall, Smokey sits on a log and thinks about how he's going to track down his hat. Just then, a familiar voice interrupts his thoughts. Looking for something, Smokey? Smokey turns around and sees it's the badger from earlier. To his knowledge, the badger hasn't spoken to him yet, so this is a bit of a surprise. How do you know my name? Smokey asks. And what do you know about my hat? The badger smiles and says, I know plenty about your hat. In fact, I know where it is right now. I can take you to it, but it'll cost you. What do you want? Smokey asks. I want you to do me a favor, the badger says. A favor? What kind of favor? Go stand over there and get run over by that log. It'll be quick, painless, and nobody will ever know what happened to you." Before Smokey can respond, the badger pulls out a gun and shoots him right in the shoulder. "I'm guessing that's not a favor anymore," the badger says. Smokey limps into the woods, clutching his bleeding shoulder. He needs to get out of here, but he can't leave without his hat. Sure, he could get the hat without giving the badger what he wants. But what if the badger tells the other animals that Smokey is a murderer? He's already in too deep. He needs to pay the badger back. He needs to get that hat. The problem is, he doesn't even know where to start looking. The sun sets as he continues his search, but he still comes up empty-pawed. He didn't ask the badger where the hat was, thinking that the badger might change his mind if he knew where it was. Guess that was a mistake. As the moon rises, he hears a noise in the bushes. He turns around to see the skunk from earlier coming out of the bushes. He was following Smokey the entire time. "What do you want?" Smokey asks, defensively. "Just wanted to see how badly you wanted that hat of yours. You really tried hard, didn't you? But the hat, it wasn't worth it, was it? You could have just asked me for it. You knew where my hat was all along," Smokey says. The skunk nods and says, "Actually, I took it myself. I saw you sleeping with that hat on and it looked comfy. Plus I needed something to put on my tail." He lifts up his tail to reveal that he had the Bear-S hat wrapped around it like a scarf. "Well, it's over now," Smokey says. "Give me back my hat and let's just forget this ever happened." The skunk hesitates, then takes the hat off his tail and puts it on Smokey's head. "Here you go." With that, the skunk runs away as fast as he can. Smokey looks down at his hat, realizing that he never did get his revenge. The badger shot him, and the skunk stole his hat. Life is tough, but it's tougher when you're a bear. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And hey, maybe give me a thumbs up for getting rid of that annoying skunk. Anyway, thanks again for watching and have a great day.